Hi, Bizzy here. BeLove, BeLight, BeLieve. Thank you for joining me here on the Bizzy Show today. It's a glorious day. Another day to be alive and be grateful to be breathing. I went for a walk in the woods, per usual. It's where I feel most at home. I brought my Tibetan singing bowl today to get into a meditative state of mind so that I can ask my spirit guides and source energy if there are any messages for me to share or what the subject of this video will be. We'll see. Here goes. I encourage you to take a few breaths. Breathe in the light. Breathe out the dark. Breathe in the light. Breathe out the dark. I like listening to these nature sounds, birds. The cicadas were singing when I was walking here, and then they got quiet. I was hoping that they would continue their song for this video. However, as per usual, I like to go with what resonates, and there's no need to force anything. Going with the flow of life, going with the flow of circumstance, going with the flow, like the flow of the water in a river. Always seems to send me in the correct direction. I find that if I try to force something and I get resistance, it usually is not the correct path. Now, many times in my life, countless times, I have tried to force things because I will get an idea in my mind or a goal in my mind, and I will think that, okay, this is the goal. What steps do I need to take to get to this goal logically? I think that a lot of us do that. Step 1, step 2, step 3. And then something always seems to come along and can sometimes upset those steps in which I thought that I needed to take to get to my goal. And then I go in a different direction, obviously, because the universe, source energy, God, sends me signs and lets me know that, hey, Bizzy, you can't keep going down that path, even though it makes logical sense. It makes so much sense in your brain. However, it's not the right path. So after years of focusing on my spiritual enlightenment, I have learned to trust in divine timing, to trust in what's the word I'm looking for? Diversion or just not distraction, because distraction can be dangerous. The words are difficult sometimes, especially when I'm conceptualizing things in my mind. Detour. There we go. Okay. Back, detour. That was the detour there, just me trying to get my mind right. Anyway, sometimes the detours that we go on actually will lead us to something bigger and better than the ultimate goal that we thought we wanted. And learning to listen to intuition and to pay attention to the signs will help you, the watcher out there, lead a guided intuition type life, if that's what you want. And hopefully anyone out there watching this show, that is my intent, is to help those of you who've been living in such a logical world of, if step 1, step 2, step 3, do the basic life choices that are presented as what is collectively normal, when in fact, when it actually might not be normal to follow or conform to the so-called normal scenario or normal goals for life. I have spent years prior to waking up spiritually and getting back in touch with my own inner guidance system. I spent a lot of years living in a world where I was attempting to follow those guidelines, and nothing ever made me happy. Even going to college and getting college degrees was more beneficial just because I was educating myself, not so much that I needed to then go pursue that particular major or genre of what it was that I was learning. However, all that education that I did get has helped me in making decisions, because the things I gravitated to for that education have helped me learn more about my brain, especially and how the brain works and why the brain works a certain way. Sorry, good. There's a branch on the tree. I propped my phone up on the tree. I always seem to find my spots wherever to record, wherever I can prop my phone. And then that always is the place that I put the phone and stand or sit to record these videos. It's as if it was made for me. Because it was meant to be. I'm super pumped up still from my last video because I spent so much time in the sun and I spewed out all kinds of stuff, spiritual stuff, and I've been holding on to all of this information for years in trying to live amongst everyone to be like everyone else, or at least I wanted to appear to be like everyone else. And I have like this whole world in here. Ow. Thank you, tree. Pricked me. I'll be all right. I've been aware of being a light worker, or it's what some people like to call what we are. Those of us that see beyond the veil, those of us that have hidden gifts, those of us who are old souls who have been here on the planet before many times. I've been aware of this for a really long time, and when I first started waking up, there wasn't much information out there. I used to Google all the time. I would Google the numbers. I would Google other things, signs and synchronicities, and I couldn't find hardly any information out there. Now, there's plentiful information out there because there are so many of us that have wakened up to what our actual purpose is in being here, which is up to each of us to figure out. I can't tell you what your purpose is. I can give you guidance. I can explain some of the things that I've done on my journey, and it's really up to you as the watcher and up to you to observe things and pay attention to signs, synchronicities, coincidences that seem like more than a coincidence, because they sort of make your mind, or they give you this feeling of, hey, that was weird, or strange, or off, or out of this world. Pay attention to that kind of stuff. Messages can come to you through any kind of medium. You can go out in the woods and receive guidance or messages or downloads from nature. You can be watching a TV show or even a cartoon, or even the news. If you are still watching the news, I highly recommend not to. However, two people, let me give an example. Two people can watch the same movie and experience it in two completely different ways, because each person has their own perception. Each person has their own programming. Each person has their own soul, spirit, mission, purpose in being here. So two people can watch the same movie and receive different information, different phrases, or maybe a song or something in the background might trigger something in your memory or in your DNA, and help wake you up. So I think the biggest thing I'm trying to say right now is that it doesn't really matter where the information is coming from. It's only important that you follow what resonates with you. Learning to understand your inner guidance system and what is good for you and what is bad for you is super duper important. Especially when it comes to the people that you have around you. Have you ever noticed that maybe you might go to some kind of social event and speaking, or or hang out with a friend or a family member? It doesn't really matter. If you go and you do something social, and when you go home, you're drained, you feel like crap, even though you might love that person or love those people, something might be off there. You might be giving away your energy too freely and not guarding that which is sacred inside of you. The opposite is where you might go to a gathering or go hang with a friend or a family member, and when you're done, you're super rejuvenated and you feel good and you feel awesome. When that happens, as long as the other person also feels that way, because you don't want to go and siphon any energy off of anyone else either. You have to be aware that each of us, depending on what our vibration is, we can be energy vampires too. I don't know if that's an important term to figure out. When you're unhealed and not in your authenticity, you can, not be good for someone also. So it's really important to pay attention to your energy level and to pay attention and be mindful of other people's boundaries as well. Because you don't want to be that person who thinks that, hey, we're really good friends. We had such a good time doing this and that day. You don't want to be the person that thinks that everything is fine when in fact that other person that you spent time with might have gotten completely drained and had to go home and sleep for like a day. So be prepared on your spiritual journey to let go of connections. It's gonna happen. And you're gonna have to let go of connections that you thought you would never have to let go of. People that have probably been in your life for a very long time. It's gonna be a difficult thing to do. However, so long as you're learning and following your inner guidance system, you will always go in the correct direction. Even when you backtrack, there's usually a lesson to be learned. And once you learn that lesson, you get right back on track. As soon as you figure out, it will like click in your mind and you're like, oh, that's why that happened. Oh, and then you have like this epiphany and everything makes sense. Things will make sense from your past. Things will make sense in an intuitive way, and it does not always make logical sense. So if you are a logical minded person and you have consistently your whole life, if A then B kind of thing, you're gonna have to let go of some of the logic. A lot, actually. I've had situations where I have absolutely had no idea what my next step is. And it wouldn't be until I learned a lesson and had to cut a cord or let go of something or a person or situation. And as soon as I made that decision, as soon as I sent it out into the universe that I'm not going to put my energy into this anymore. As soon as I do that, the answers come. And then there I am on my next stepping stone on my journey. It's a blind faith kind of thing. And the more time that you spend trusting in your own inner gut, trusting in your own instincts, and trusting in your inner guidance system, the more often these things occur. And the more you will advance on your spiritual path. Because ultimately, we are here as light workers to raise the frequency of this planet. And the only way that we can do that is to let go of the burdens that we've been carrying with us. Some of us have been carrying with us for lifetimes, for what feels like an eternity. And the more that we let go, and the more that we detach, especially from future outcomes that we might think that we want. I mean, you could be super passionate about something, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is because it's your passion. And all of a sudden, something will happen in your life and you've got to adjust and adapt and change. And it doesn't make sense while it's happening. Eventually, it will make sense. Eventually, you will be in a place, in a state of mind as you raise your frequency to have a higher understanding. And when you reflect on those events and changes in your life, you'll be like, oh, there's another epiphany again. And those are my favorite feelings. When I first started to attempt to trust in my own inner self, I was super nervous. I was scared. I was like, this makes no sense. I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know why I'm being compelled or propelled to make this decision or go in this direction. And then I would have this feeling of, I got to do it anyway. I have to do this. I have to do this because it's the only thing that's going to make me happy. It's the only thing that's going to put me in a position where then I can make my next step to raise my frequency. And I don't know. I'm super pumped up today. Again, kind of like the other day when I recorded the other video. I have been spending so much time in nature that I can't even explain what it's been doing to help heal me. It's a miraculous thing. And I am so incredibly grateful that even though it took me 40 years to get here, in this lifetime anyway, everything that's happened to me in this lifetime, all the good, all the bad, all the indifferent things, all of the mistakes, all of the accomplishments, the more I'm raising my frequency, the more things make sense, and I actually feel more at peace inside in here. And it has just like pumped me up. And I don't half the time I don't even have words to explain what it is I'm feeling, because if you're like me and you're on this journey and you might understand that human words aren't necessarily the only way to communicate. They aren't. They're actually pretty primitive when it comes to energy exchange. Words are limited, and oh, okay, Spirit is guiding me to tell you it's really important to focus on what words you use and what words you put out into the universe. If you say, I can't do something, the universe will hear you. And you're not going to be able to do whatever it is that you're thinking you can't do because you don't even obviously believe in yourself. If you say, I can do this, I will do this, I am confident in completing this goal or working towards this goal, the universe will help you. It will help guide you to get to where it is that you want to go. Don't be stuck on any particular outcome, though. That's all about detachment as well. I used to get stuck on outcomes, and it kind of like sends you into tunnel vision. And when you are so super stuck on one outcome, well, a specific outcome, you can miss all of the other things, all of the other opportunities that might present themselves to you. So when you're focusing on what it is that you want, focus on the feeling. Don't focus on the necessarily goal or the necessary job or the necessary place that you want to go or the necessary whatever it is that your goal is. If you want to accomplish something, focus on what it will feel like as if you've already accomplished it. That's the biggest lesson here. Focus on the feeling of what it is that you want as if it's already occurred. That will help you. If you get stuck in fear mode, make sure you're not making decisions when you're in fear mode. Make sure you're not making decisions out of desperation or fear. That will send you on the wrong path. If you find yourself in fear mode, make sure you take a break. Take a nap, meditate, or do whatever it is. Those are just things that I do for me when I need to reset. Whatever it is that you need to do to reset yourself and get out of fear mode, do that. Then when you're calm again and you're in peace again and you feel okay again, then start focusing on what it is that you want. What is the feeling of what it is that you want? And answers will come. Because we all have everything that we need inside of ourselves, inside of our inner guidance system. There are so many things outside of us that want to induce fear in us so that we don't actually accomplish what it is that we are here to do. Another thing is, sometimes the universe doesn't understand the knots or the negating. If you use the word not, say, for example, I'll just say, if you think in your mind like a negative thoughts are something that all of us have in our minds at some point in our lives. Someone might say something to us and we feel bad about ourselves because for some reason we attach our self-worth to something that someone might have said. And we'll say, I'm not this or that, when in fact that's what you want to do or be or see as yourself in your future. If you continue to have a negative thought in your mind of I am not, whatever it is that you think that you aren't, when in fact you are, the universe is gonna, not so much the universe, but you're going to only pay attention and notice things that point out that particular thing. That's why I really don't like labels. Labels are so limiting. Labels are incredibly limiting. If you label someone, I guess the easiest thing to say is bad. If you say, if for some reason, this one was hard for me. I got told a lot when I was a kid that I was bad. So I internalized that. And I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought because caretakers were telling me that I was bad, I was never going to amount to anything. I was nothing. I was not important. I internalized all of those things, and I have carried that programming with me for a long time. And it has taken me so much time and effort and energy to deprogram my programming, because I am a glorious light being. I am a soul spirit living a human experience, and I am phenomenal. So any haters out there watching this, because I know that I have people watching every move I make and gossiping behind my back and saying things as if they know what's going on in my life, and they have no idea what's going on. No one knows what I'm doing, what my next move is, except for me. No one knows what goals I have in my heart, because they're mine. It's my soul journey. It isn't. Oh, there's a cicada crawling on my foot right now. It isn't really anyone's business to be in someone else's business. I don't go and pay attention to what other people are doing, because it doesn't matter what other people are doing or what their goals are. As long as they're, doing their thing, then and they're happy doing their thing, then that makes me happy. Like, the good. It's not a competition. We're supposed to collaboratively and collectively help one another with our goals. And we each have a unique gift or talent or trade. And so long as we are doing what makes ourselves happy and what makes ourselves feel fulfilled, then we'll reflect that in our outward life. Hey guy. Wow, this is a super tiny one. I don't know if you can. Wow. I'm really enjoying these cicadas. Earlier today, they were singing, and it was oh, it fell. He's okay. And it was whoa, like waves of vibrations. And it was so magical. That might be another reason I'm super pumped up here today, because I listened. I listened to those vibrations. I listened to those sounds, and it was so magical. Anyway, I got to get back to where I was going. I do tangents a lot because my brain sometimes moves faster than I can actually speak in human words, because human words are limited and slower than our brain connectivity and the way that we process information. I guess what my point was with go back to this. I was talking about the knots. If you don't believe that you can accomplish something, and you say, I'm not good at that, I'm bad, and all this stuff, then that's what kind of life you're going to manifest. And you will continue to repeat that cycle over and over and over again until you deprogram that programming and you get back into your center and you rephrase those thoughts in your mind into positive affirmations instead of negative thoughts. And when you do the positive affirmations and you say, I am good, I am wonderful, I am beautiful, I am confident that I can do this, I am confident that I can reach these goals that I see for myself. The more that you do that, the more things will present themselves and opportunities will just be laid out in front of you with ease. Our lives are not really supposed to be super resistant. We're not supposed to be like fighting for our life. We're not supposed to be having all this resistance, and we're not supposed to be feeling miserable all the time. We're not supposed to be feeling trapped in lives that we can't believe. How did we even get to that point? We're supposed to be living with ease and feeling at peace and at home inside of our own self. The more that you change your negative thoughts into positive affirmations, which you're more than capable of doing this. Everyone can change their thoughts. Everyone can deprogram their programming. No one's going to give you the answers that you seek except for yourself. You've got to do the work yourself. You've got to dig down deep, figure out what it is, what lesson are you supposed to be learning, what things are you supposed to be paying attention to, what signs are you seeing on repeat over and over again, because the universe and source energy is like putting it right there in your face, like, hey, pay attention. When you pay attention and you start to get rid of some of that baggage, you'll feel lighter, and then you'll be guided to the next thing. That cicada is climbing up my leg again. Hello, friend. Yesterday, or I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, I posted a picture of a cicada. I spent like an hour or two hanging out with the cicada. It crawled on me, and then it got on my head, and I just kind of like was walking around with it on my head for a while. It didn't bother me. When I was younger, though, I would have freaked out. Bugs crawling on me. They're here, see? They don't bother me anymore. I feel like they're little messengers. Bugs. Birds. Animals, whatever it is. Trees. Plants. Even the clouds. Anyone notice anything weird about the clouds lately? What are they hiding behind those chemtrails? I mean, that's been going on for years. That's going to have to be another video, because look, I'm already almost 40 minutes and I think that I have been holding on to all this information for so long. The universe is like putting something in my face telling me, hey, Bizzy, you gotta share this stuff. You've been hiding in a plain sight and not pretending to fit in, or making people think that you are pretending to fit in as a trauma response safety protection mechanism. I don't know. I've been afraid to be myself and to put my authenticity out there for a long time. When I first started waking up, I used to ask other people, did they see the numbers? Did they see these signs? Did they see what I was seeing? And everyone thought I was nuts. Now, there's so many other people waking up, more light workers, being forced into waking up, because the time is now. The time is always now. And I feel more confident in being myself and sharing these things And the more that I do these videos, the better I feel, because this is part of my soul mission. Even if all the haters out there and those people in my life that just can't accept that I don't fit into their perceived box, I'm sorry that you feel that way. I'm not sorry, though, that I'm finally doing what I'm guided to do. This is the most at peace that I have felt, even though I'm still experiencing daily stress. I still get triggers. I still have flashbacks. I have all kinds of information coming in and out when I'm in meditation. It's a lot. Yet, in my heart, in here, I feel so good. I feel that I can accomplish anything I set my mind to. I can live a life on my terms. I am snip, 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 cutting those cords. I am evacuating those negative thoughts out of my brain, because they weren't mine to begin with. They were never mine. They were judgments and things placed upon me throughout my life, and I identified with them to fit in with other people, and it slowly started to kill my soul. I've just had it. I'm done with people's judgments. I'm done feeling bad because I want to be happy and I want to live my life and feel glorious and feel alive every single day. I'm done with the nonsense. I release everything and anything that no longer suits me or my highest good. And I ask you to say that statement too. When you outwardly say, I release everything and anything that does not serve my highest good, say it a few times. Take some deep breaths. You will feel better. It will shed those layers, those onion layers. Peel back all that stuff that actually doesn't belong to you. It will help you get back to your core center self. And then the answers come. The answers are always there. The more you focus on being in your now and in your moment that you're in, instead of being stuck in the past or being preoccupied with what are you going to do in the future? How are you going to do this? What's the next step? If you can take the time every single day, and as much as you can throughout your day. I mean, the ultimate goal is to always be living in your now. That's the ultimate goal. I'm still get stuck in the past. I still kind of get preoccupied with the future. I am on my journey where I am. I still have a million miles to go. And we will be constantly learning and evolving the whole entire time that we're here. You never get to there's never a finish line. That's really important that you understand that. There's never a finish line. The only thing that's super important is that you're living in your now moment as much as possible every single day. And in the morning when you wake up and you've been given and blessed with another day and you're breathing that air and you're alive, make sure you're living that day as if it was your first day and your last day, because you can only live one day at a time. You can only live one moment at a time. Wow. I feel so much fuel being here in the woods and listening to the sounds and finally speaking my authenticity, I feel alive. I feel glorious. That's the word of the day. Glorious. Well, on that note, thank you for joining me on the Bizzy Show today. Be love, be light, believe.